Hello there and welcome back. Now I've just turned off the main road onto the country lanes, and it's that moment when the anticipation starts to build about the adventure we're going to have, the summer evening of hiking and photography. It's very exciting and I've got my mojo back, ladies and gentlemen, so I would love it if you were to come with me. Let's go. Before we get going today though, this video is sponsored by Squarespace. If you need a domain name, a website or an online store, make your next move with Squarespace. Right, fitness update, and the update is that I'm a sweaty mess because I've been drinking far too much beer recently. It's the time of year, the sun is finally out, it's finally warmed up and the football's on, so it's just far too tempting when you're at home in the evening to crack open a cold one. My fitness is suffering for it. I mean, otherwise I've been going to the gym, been working out, but the weight loss has just completely stopped because I'm drinking far too much beer. And it's also making today very difficult when it's humid and warm. I'm suffering for my art, although I suppose I'm paying for my beer. Oh no, that's what's happening really. Onward and upward. I'm also getting eaten alive by bugs, which is pretty annoying, so I need to get up into the wind, into the altitude, and hopefully that'll reduce. But I mean, look at it. It is absolutely glorious. Right, so I'm set up for my first image. Now, to explain this one, I have to take you back to last week, where I found myself surrounded with some beautiful cotton grass. And I said I wanted to photograph it with the mountains in the background, but I didn't because I felt you had to get really close up to them. And once you do that to make the cotton grass look good, the mountains in the distance look really tiny. But then when I was editing the video, I thought, why didn't I use a long lens to compress the background? Because when you put the long lens on, it squeezes everything together in your frame, back to front, and you get that lovely compression effect. So I've been lucky enough to find this cute little cluster of cotton grass, and again I have a mountain backdrop. So this time I'm going to do what I thought would be a good idea and try and compress it by using this 70 to 200 lens. I'm having to get down really low, which is making it a little bit awkward to look through the viewfinder to try and compose the image. Now, the background is going to be very blown out, but I quite like that because you can still see that it's mountains and it is actually working. And because I'm in at 200, even this little cluster of cotton grass that I've found is filling the frame. I've then got the horizon kind of towards the top of the frame, possibly just a little bit above the rule of thirds. And then, yeah, just it's looking really quite nice. The sun's just dipped behind a cloud, which isn't the best because I want that cotton grass lit up with that warm sort of late afternoon or early evening sunshine. The other problem I'm having is a slightly technical one because it's quite windy. I'm currently at f11 because I don't want the background to be completely blown out, and even at f11 the background is still very blurred. I'm then at 1/400th of a second, which I think is going to be enough to freeze the action. And to get that shutter speed with that aperture, I've had to boost the ISO up to 320, which is still going to give me a nice clean image. And now I'm just going to keep firing as the sun comes to its full fruition. The cotton grass is moving around in the wind, so I'm just going to fire off quite a few frames and then pick the one that I like the best with the cotton grass in just the right place for the composition to complement the background. There's a fly on the lens now. Right, one more I think as that sun really comes out. I'm actually really pleased with that. Right, I'm set up for my second shot now, again down in the reeds, in the grasses, and this time I'm set up with this tree that I've come across, which I've actually photographed before in the winter, and yeah, I think it's dead, but it just has a certain character that I really love. And this time it's surrounded again by this beautiful cotton grass. There's loads of it this time. I'm not really going to talk you through it, I'll just show you that in a minute. One thing I've always been trying to do in my photography over the last couple of years is create a sense of value in the work I produce, because we live in a world where digital images are abundant. And I've said so many times before that the value or the price of digital content will always trend to zero, and that includes your digital photographs. So we want to try and produce something that does have value. That's why I started printing, because it creates a certain amount of scarcity, which gives things value, and not many people are printing. So as soon as you start printing, I think that elevates your photography above people just taking digital images. But I'm trying to take that a step further with creating these frames, these one-off pieces of work where the picture, the print, and the frame are all designed by me as the artist with a vision in mind, and they all come together and serve each other. Most people are not going to be wanting to spend that amount of money, but I am going to sell them as one-of-ones, and they will be a premium product. They're going to be over £1,000, I think, by the time I'm finished. There will be a few people out there that really like my work that will want to buy that. So yeah, it's just trying to do something to sort of be different, or to stand out, or to create value. I think it's all part of the same thing, and it's just part of, it doesn't even feel like a business thing. It's just an artistic exploration. And I'm not going to lie, I like selling my artwork. It's one of the best things I do, if not the best thing I do as a landscape photographer. But the sun's back out, so I'm going to capture this once more. It's already composed up and stuff. And yeah, I'll show you that now. I've just finished capturing there what I think is going to be a pretty spectacular panorama, because there's this beautiful mist sort of descended over in the distance there, and you can kind of see the different lines of the mountains, the forms and the shapes that it's creating. I think are really lovely, and it's all encapsulated in this beautiful, warm, golden evening light. I think that's going to be a good one, which I will show you in just a minute. But as you know, this video is sponsored by Squarespace. And in my opinion, Squarespace is the best place for photographers to build their own websites. And in fact, I'm quite far now through the process of building a new website for myself, because there's First Man Photography that sits there and does its thing, but I also want to have maybe adamcarnage.co.uk, something like that, that's going to act as my portfolio, my online portfolio, to show people my work and my photography. And it's just sort of reconfirmed how good and how easy using Squarespace is, because you don't need any technical knowledge. All you do is go to squarespace.com, or you can click the link down below and then type in what you want, or click what you want. And then Squarespace will provide a series of templates for you to choose from. And then you just pick one that you like, put a few of your images on there, some of your words, and before you know it, you will have a unique and beautiful looking website. It is that easy, and it will change size to fit any screen that the viewer is viewing it on, and that is important in 2024. You can start with just a simple gallery. That's what I've done with my new website, and your images look big, bold and beautiful, so much nicer than they do on social media. But then if you want to take it a step further and grow your business, grow your photography, you can turn your Squarespace website into an online store just as easily and start selling things like books and prints and mugs and workshops and all that kind of thing, and it's just as easy to do. It's just fantastic seeing your work come to life like that in your place, in your little corner of the internet. I think is a really lovely thing, and I've been using Squarespace for years and I've never looked back. They've got award-winning customer service as well if you run into trouble. So go to squarespace.com or click the link down below and you can start your free trial today. And then once you've built your website, if you like what you've created, use the offer code FIRSTMAN. That's right. Tell them that I sent you there, and then we all win. It's a beautiful thing, really. And then you'll get 10% off your first purchase. Right, I've got a little bit of time just to relax and chill out before the sunset. And I don't know if you can hear it, but this hill is alive with bugs. They're buzzing all around me, particularly over there, where I hope they stay, because I'm not the biggest fan of bugs. So I'll be waiting over there somewhere, just enjoying my time before the sun sets. I'm still waiting for sunset and I've just been flying the drone. The conditions are quite extraordinary. If you just look down there, it's almost like there's going to be an inversion, and it just feels like the mist is descending all the time. I mean, it could be absolutely incredible. It looks good at the minute as well. I'd be shooting directly into the sun, but to be honest, I don't really know what to do. Probably just another panorama maybe, but don't really know what to do at the moment, but it does look extraordinary. It's so still now as well. There's not a breath of wind, which is amazing, because other times I've been up here, it's been a little bit blustery. But the downside of that is the amount of insects and midges. I am just midgy food right now. Strange atmosphere, but fantastic. Right, I think my best opportunity is now upon me, because the sun is behind the cloud above the mountain still, but it's sending light streaks through, which are just looking fantastic, and they're getting better and better. So what I'm going to do is a panorama, a bit like the image last week, and just go all the way around here. Those light streaks look good. So yeah, I'm just going to start going around, and I'll explain it as I go, because there's so much atmosphere, but it's actually really difficult to shoot. So I haven't quite known what to do, and the light's been changing all the time, and the streaks are changing, but they're so bright. So I'm going round, moving a third of the way into the image every time. I'm at f11, I'm at 1/200th of a second, and ISO 100, and I'm bracketing 2 stops either side. So this is a bracketed HDR, or panorama basically, and I hope it's going to work. Just things are changing so quickly all the time. The individual frames on the back of the camera just look stunning. So I'm going around as quickly as I can. It's probably going to be about 20 images. Well, that'll be 60, won't it, if I'm bracketing with 2 stops either side? But I need to do that because it's such a big dynamic range. If I get this right, it could be stunning. So 2/3 of the way in each time. 3 shots. Just look at the way it's appearing. Look at those colours. Just looks amazing. I think I might do this a few times because the light's changing so much. I think maybe as well as the sun gets a bit more towards the bottom of that cloud that's just above the mountain, this could get even better. And that's going to be my tactic, I think. Oh my goodness. Look at the light there now. Let me spin you back around again. This is exciting. It's really exciting, but also a little bit tense because I'm not sure I'm getting exactly what it deserves. I think when you're doing landscape photography, you see all the bugs, absolutely disgusting. When you're doing landscape photography, it can be difficult. I had lost my mojo recently, and one of the things I realised last week that I've talked about before and I've known before but I've forgotten is that the hardest step, the hardest barrier to breach is that first step out of the door. Once you've got your camera gear together and you step out the door, it just suddenly gets easier. Then you drive to where you need to be. And you need to be in these staggering locations. Look at the light over there now. And it just all seems to come together. And you get evenings like this. Granted, I'm surrounded by midges, but I have this whole place to myself. Oh my goodness, what's happening behind me? Here you go again. Let's just take a moment to appreciate that. And these moments are very, very special, and they make you feel good, and they put your life into perspective. There are little things that bother us. There are little things in the daily grind that get us down. And when you come to somewhere like this and you experience nature in this way and you feel connected to the place and to the landscape, all those little worries go away. And the big worries in our life, the real problems, somehow suddenly feel easier to cope with. I just need to photograph this, so I'll show you that in a minute. Leave a comment down below because I need to hear from you. Got some lovely comments on last week's video and they feed me, they feed the desire to come out and make these videos. I hope you will subscribe and like and watch the next one. But I need to go capture that because it's beautiful.